Good morning, Mr. Ikenna. Thank you for the great job you are doing, sir. Your tips and advices to owners of Peugeot cars in Nigeria has made maintenance and resolution of issues in Peugeot cars quite easy. I own a 2005 Peugeot 607 Phase 2 V6 engine with AM6 transmission. Number one, I recently noticed that the engine sound enters the car cabin. I mean, the moment the car gets to 60 or 90 kilometers per hour, the car cabin is flooded with the engine noise. It is worse when the windows are wound up. It is so bad that it is hard to have a conversation with fellow occupants in the car. Also, about the same time, I started noticing that the transmission started acting funny. I know the Peugeot automatic transmission sometimes has a few seconds delay, but this is different in the sense that the car acts as if it is shocked. It stalls almost as if it is coming to a stop before picking up and moving. It doesn't happen all the time though. It happens, for example, A. After I've made a U-turn and I want to accelerate fast, it just acts as if something is blocking it, almost like a human being grasping for breath. Sometimes in the morning it happens too. In fact, when it does, it appears the needle on the rev counter shoots higher up than the speed of the vehicle. Um, Second page. Number three, presently my car doesn't have a check engine light on, though it comes on when anything is wrong with the car. Majorly misfires caused by bad ignition coils. But I still decided to have it scanned, and it gave me PO40 code, PO479 code. I tried to Google it and it said something about positive crankcase ventilation. Um, Please also advise when is the best time to change oil for Peugeot 607 Phase 2 V6. The mileage is presently about 166,000. It came into Nigeria at about 120,000 kilometers. The car has done about 5 years in Nigeria. Please kindly advise me on how to resolve this issue, sir. The 607 Phase 2 V6 is an awesome car. It hardly gives issues. I know remote diagnosis can be hard in some cases, but please kindly help out to the best of your abilities, sir. I'm in Ondo State. Thank you. Okay, let me go back to the first page. The first question, number one, I recently noticed the engine sound enters the cabin. One thing I know about this V6 engine, that's ES9A, is a very quiet engine. It's very, very quiet. Even when the car is idling, let's assume the car is at neutral or park and the engine is running, and you push the RPM to even 6,500. You barely hear. Okay, yeah, okay, the engine that, and you are sitting inside the car. Yeah, that's what you know that yes, the engine accelerated. But to hear that noise as that aggressive, yeah, it can be aggressive. No, it's not that necessarily aggressive. The engine sound is not aggressive. So if you push it, no matter how hard you push it, it still sounds as it's revving up, getting close to that red zone on the tachometer, it will smoothen out. Not quite silently, but you barely feel uncomfortable. The sound will It's a quiet engine. Let me just put it that way. So, um, of course, the same engine you find it for the 406, 607, phase 1, 807, 407. Of course, it's not like they're identical, but they're all the same. ES9J4S, all of them, they're all the same engine anyway. So, they are quiet. They are quiet. So, I'm surprised. I wouldn't really know what I would say that is causing it. And one thing I know is 607 is well insulated, that you hardly hear noise. I wanted to ask, are you referring to road noise, wind noise, or actually the engine noise? Because if the noise, the best way to know. So if you want to accelerate what is making that noise, um, like I told you, just do this test. Keep the car, let the engine idle, push the RPM to maybe like 5,000. Because he said the noise usually comes up when the vehicle speed gets to like 60 to 90 kilometers per hour. So, meaning that at least, let's assume at 60 kilometers per hour, the gear will probably be on 3. At 90 kilometers per hour, depending on how you accelerate the car, at 90, it may stay at gear 9, gear 6, if you are not pushing it that hard. So, um, so it means the RPM at least supposed to be between 2,000. No matter if it's at the highest gear, it's supposed to be between 2,000 to 3,000 on that 60 to 90 kilometers per hour. So I would suggest you push the RPM. Push it, let it go beyond 3. Because at 3,000, you hardly hear the sound. It will just be a little. So push it, let it go to that like 4, 5,000. If you don't want to push it to see, make sure the engine is hot at that time so you don't wreck your engine. I'm talking about the oil temperature. Let the oil temperature get up to 80 degrees Celsius. Then you can do that test. So push it, listen to the sound. Make sure the engine, everything, the windows are up, everything. So do it. Now compare the noise that you hear from the engine bay. Is it the same loud noise that you hear when the vehicle speed now increases to 90 to 60 kilometers like you said? If it doesn't sound the same, if the one you hear when you accelerate the engine when the vehicle is stationary, you accelerate the engine and it hits close to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 kilometers, and it's not as loud as the one you hear when the vehicle is doing 90 kilometers. Then the noise has nothing to do with the engine. Yeah, because I want you to just be sure, so I don't go and start messing with what is not wrong. If you do that and the noise are different, the two noises are not the same, then it has nothing to do with the engine. If it's the wind noise that you are talking about, but if it's wind noise, you will know, because that one is quite different. That's that as the vehicle speed is increasing, you'll be hearing this kind of that is, it has nothing to do with the engine. In that case, you are looking at maybe your windows, maybe one or two of those your door windows did not get to the top fully. You have to check. Maybe your window regulator has a problem. So when you press it, it won't hit. If you really want to confirm, you have to press each of those switches, window switches. Wait until you hear that noise. Boom. Once you make that noise, as the windows are going up, yes, it means he has touched. So he has locked or lapped. So air will no longer pass through it. But if it doesn't lock, air will still pass through it and it will increase. Then the road noise. We are talking about road noise. Road noise, usually the quality of tire can cause that. The quality of road, the condition of the road can cause road noise. If your tires are all those winter tires or tires that their tread are very very rough, especially those ones that the maximum speed is less than maybe 180 kilometers per hour. You know, if it's not H, it's not V, it's not W, it's not. There are so many of them. There are some that if you check the tire speed rating, if the maximum speed is like 160, 140, 120, come on, it's going to make the noise. It means those tires, once you start pushing them, they usually come with fully used cars because of their weather over there. So they use it during winter and stuff like that. So such tires will become noisy as vehicle speed increases. So you have to check. In that case, you know when the vehicle speed reduces, the noise goes away. When it increases, as vehicle speed is increasing, the noise will be increasing. Likewise, but I won't say it's the condition of the road because it means you have probably have driven it on so many roads and the noise remains. So there are some roads as they start aging, they become rough on the surface. Not necessarily potholes, everything, but it won't be smooth anymore. So as you drive on them, as the speed increases, the noise, it becomes noisier. Which sometimes will look as if it's the tire that is making the noise, but it's not the tire, it's actually the road. So the time you know it's not the tire is when you now, as you have been doing that high speed, you now drive on a smoother express or something, the noise will go away. But if the noise increases when you drive on a smoother expressway road or a newly built road, and the noise remains, it means your tires is the problem. Of course, there are other things that can do that, right? The wheel bearing, all those things can, but that one is more pronounced. It's completely different. Like I'll be doing as the speed increases, the vehicle speed increases, we hear something. That one is like way behind. In fact, the faster you go, the louder it sounds. If it's if the wave bearing that is making that noise is on the front wheel, as that noise is doing, if you turn your steering, not like fully, or when you are at high speed, you turn it as if you want to overtake. Uh, Depending on which of the way that is making that noise, the noise will go away for some seconds. If you turn it, or maybe even if it doesn't go away, it will reduce. So that's how to know if it's coming from the bearing. So it depends, but like I say, you have to rule it out first before we continue on this. But this question will now lead up to your second question, number one. Now you said also the same time I started noticing that the transmission started acting funny. I know the Peugeot automatic transmissions have few seconds delay, blah blah blah. The car stall, you press the throttle, it doesn't respond. Then all of a sudden it now kicks in. Uh, or it now gradually start running. And from what you explained here, I said, hey, when you make a U-turn, want to accelerate fast, it just acts as if something is blocking it, as if the human being is grasping for breath. Then sometime in the morning, it happens to when it does, the needle on the left counter shoots higher, up down the speed of the car. See, this question, this number two, may even be the source of the noise that you talked about in your question one. Because from there, it says your gearbox is having a problem. So because the gearbox and engine, both of them are in the engine bay. So the noise, if the gearbox started failing, which is already clear on your question two, it can actually be the source of the noise. I'm not saying it is, but already the gearbox has a problem. So it may even be what is making that noise. But however, you need to still isolate the noise where it's coming from. Just like I said, if you push it, do that engine one, Then you can tell whether it's coming from the gearbox. That test I told you, where it's coming from the engine or thereabout. But I'll tell you how to know the gearbox one anyway. So for number 2A, that's yeah, AMCs can fail like that. You stop, you are on high speed or you are just in motion, then you get to uh, a stop light, or you do a U-turn just like you said, and you now press the throttle to move. All of a sudden you notice that it's as if you are not even pressing the throttle pedal, even though you actually have pressed it down for the gearbox to downshift and then continue moving. Or even if it doesn't downshift, just since you reduce speed, it's expected it to downshift by itself to gear 1 or 2. You press it down, nothing happens. You just stays you stay as if you are not pressing the throttle. Then after a while it will start moving. Then after some seconds, then the gear will engage and start moving. Yes, that's how AMC's failure usually starts. I've experienced it on one Peugeot 407 V6 with this same transmission, AMC's. So that's how this AMC is actually AM6A. This particular one, is it AM6A or AM6B? I think it's AM6A. Forgot it. So that's how it's AM6A. I think, or AM6C. It's A or B, whatever. So, and then you say B, sometime in the morning it happens to it appears the needle of the rev counter will choose higher up than the speed of the car. It's called sleeping. For manual cars, when your clutch disc or clutch friction plate starts to slip, you engage it, press the throttle down, then you see your RPM will jump up and the engine will become noisy. Yeah, the vehicle speed will not commensurate with the noise the engine is making. Eventually, it may pick up, but you realize that it's not. No, you take a while before you now pick up, and then if you try to accelerate more, you start making that noise. If you reduce the throttle pedal a little, then it will pick up again. So what you describe on that 2B is cross sleeping, and so your gearbox has some issues. AMCs I didn't have problem. However, I've come across ones that had issues. So yep, the noise. There's a way AMCs. The one I know is if your gearbox pump oil pump is about failing, they can actually be make so that one it will make it kind of grinding sound, or is it grinding or knocking sound. That's whether you put it on neutral or park. If you press the throttle within, as you are pressing the throttle within, you if you maybe you put your ear in the engine bay, ask somebody to accelerate the car for you when the car is stationary. As he's doing that, you hear the noise will be coming from the gearbox, not the engine. But that one usually the gearbox oil pump. Um, then another thing I noticed about that gearbox is it can actually make some drone noise. It can make drone noise. I wouldn't know if I can't say they do it only when they are faulty. Honestly, cannot tell, but the drone noise will be there. So you have to also confirm the noise you are hearing. Does it make it like a drone noise when the car is in motion? If it's drone noise, it's probably coming from the gearbox. That's the automatic gearbox. So what could be the culprit to this 2A and 2B automatic gearbox? It could be the ATF, or it could be your valve body is started failing. So it did not scan. It didn't show anything. It didn't say you scanned the automatic transmission ECU. So I wouldn't know what it could be. But of course, when transmission start giving issues, well, usually the first thing to do is to change the ATF. Anyway, I'll come to that. Now, number 3. Presently, my car doesn't have a check engine light, but majorly misfire. Yes, Peugeot cars are not, that V6 engine is not for misfire, especially when you use a bad fuel. So for you to be saying ignition coil, the problem may not even be the coil. But what happens is because when it misfires and it tells you a coil is bad, it tells you cylinder something misfire. If you disconnect the coil and plug it back, it takes care of that misfire. But because most people, they will just remove the coil and put another one, thinking that the other one is the one you remove is bad. But it's not actually bad. So it's possible that the coils are not okay. If I don't think I've ever come across. Okay, let me not say I've never come across, but generally all those ES engines, their ignition coils hardly have problem as long as you still have that what's it called, that white top, the Delphi, the one with the white top. Even the one with the black top, that's the cement. They don't even fail that much, not to think of. So it's possible it's not your ignition coil. If you are replacing it, you are wasting your money. I've done a video on how to diagnose misfire on a V6. I know I've done a video on that. So you said you scanned the vehicle and it gave you a code P0479. The thing is, I don't know which scan tool you used. See, that's the thing about some of this. I always tell people when it comes to Peugeot, if you want to go technical or fully into, if you really want to know, okay, there are other professional scan tools. It's not just only the PP2000, but personally, I prefer PP2000 error code definition. I prefer it when it comes to Peugeot because you'll be surprised. Because you say you googled it and it shows something positive crankcase ventilation. You'll be surprised that when you plug in a PP2000, it will show you something different. The same code, right? The same error code, but the definition will differ. So I prefer to use the definition of that of Peugeot than that of the online. And yeah, so most times too, they will match. It will be the same. The definition on the Peugeot PP2000 will be the same general definition of that error code online. So had it been, from what you say, since it's not from PP2000, I don't want to comment on it. So I won't give you a wrong solution. Let me see, trying to check it out right now to see. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a time to go to check it online to see what he's actually talking about concerning that code. Voltage reading and exhaust pressure, control valve circuit. Anyway, whatever it is, it's probably not a big deal. I don't think it will have anything to do with positive crankcase ventilation. Because what he's saying here is it's not that vacuum line. What's a vacuum line? The oil hose ventilator, the one that connects the motorized throttle body, comes from motorized throttle body, and then goes to uh, the two, yeah, it goes to the two engine cylinder head covers. The two engine cylinder head covers. It's actually beside, you see it, it's on top of the, what's it called, thermostat housing on that engine. You see one hose with a small plastic bolted on the cylinder head at that side, then which is directly on top of the thermostat housing or around that area. Then you see a hose, it will come from motorized throttle body, also connects to the tube that comes from the motorized throttle body to the air filter box. Then there's another line there that goes from that hose. I'm trying to remember the name of that hose. So, but that shouldn't cause that problem. However, if that hose breaks or crack, it makes whistle noise. When you start the engine, with the engine, whether the bonnet is open or not, you will be hearing whistling noise. Whee! To show air is passing through it or leaking from there or is sucking air from that hose. So you can replace it. New one is available in Abuja self. Think about 6,000. I don't know if that's what this code is showing. Unless I'll read it up online to actually know what it's doing. But had it been, is the definition is from your PP 2000, I will know exactly what it is. Because most times these things differ from what a specific manufacturer defines it as than the general one. Okay, so 4. Please also advise when is the best time to change the transmission oil for 607 phase 2 V6. The best time to change is every 30,000 kilometers. Every 30,000 kilometers, drain it out. Now you said the car came at 166, no, 120,000 kilometers, the mileage when you enter Nigeria. So, and you've done, and now it's 166. So you do the calculation, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It's almost like 50 to 60,000 kilometers. So you've exceeded it. I'm even saying, assuming that it was changed before it was shipped to Nigeria. So for now, it's overdue. And as it is now, you may need to drain everything, not just the normal service. So what I advise, since the gearbox has even started, maybe it's even because you didn't change the ATM. That's why the gearbox is now acting up. Hopefully, you may still revive it. Fortunately, you may eventually have to change the gearbox or change the valve body. It depends. There's automatic gearbox specialist that can diagnose for and tell you what needs to be done. But in this case, I would suggest you buy up to between 8 to 12 liters of ATM. That's what I would recommend for you to do. It's a risk that you may do all these things and the gearbox will still maintain and keep doing the same thing. In that case, you lose the ATM. However, or you bite it, bring another one, put a fresh ATM. You see? So what I would suggest is buy up to 12, but minimum of 8. Don't bother with 4 liters. Buy up to 12 liters, at least the minimum of 8 if you can't get up to that 12. Now what you do is you first, when you want to drain the ATF, it's only 4 liters that can come out, maximum of 4 liters that can come out from the gearbox. Then you pour another 4 liters, run the engine. There's a way of gauging it, but if you are pouring that 4 liters, you don't need to bother about gauging, because as long as it does not exceed 4 liters, you're okay. It's only when you don't measure it. So make sure everything there has come out before you close and add another one. You can still do the like gauge measurement. You gauge it, but it's more technical. It's not something It doesn't have a dipstick, so you have to go under the car. It's not. There's a manual, a guide on how to do that. But like I said, if you drain everything out and pour 4 liters, is this for now is going to serve you. So drain everything, then pour in 4 liters. Start the engine, block, cover everything back, plug everything back. Start the engine. If I were you, I would drive the car maybe for like 1 hour or less, or even if it's 30 minutes, at least take it off out, drive it for like 30 minutes, then come back. And before you drain the oil, make sure your engine is hot, as in that you started the car. Okay, just look at that your oil temperature, not the coolant temperature now. Look at the oil temperature, make sure the oil temperature has gotten close to like 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. Do it when the engine is still hot. That's when you drain the ATF from that gearbox AMCs. So when it becomes hot, jack the car. Of course, I know at that time the ATF, the oil will be very hot, so you have to be careful so it doesn't burn your hand, or whoever that will do the work. If it's mechanic, they know how what to do. The drain plug is under, around that differential area. So drain it. Um, when it's hot, close it, pour 4 liters, start the car, run it for like 30 seconds, move it around, or you can even leave it, I don't know, you can move it, leave it that same place, run the gearbox, shift it to all the gear, or drive it, rather you drive it. Come back again after 30 minutes to 1 hour, drain it again, drain that oil again, the one you poured, that 4 liters, remove it, pour another 4 liters. That's the second 4 liters, making it 8 liters now. Pour it in, cover everything again, then drive it for another 30 minutes or so, or 1 hour, depending. Drive it, what I mean is at least let it cover some kilometers. As long as the engine is running, you don't have to travel, just let it keep running. As the engine is shifting, then you come back, then you now do the third one. That third one, that's when if you want, you can gauge it. That's the right thing to do. You can now do the gauging, but that gauging, personally, if you pour 4 liters, it'll be enough. Unless maybe the oil on the inside the gearbox is not enough before, but it should be. As long as there's no leakage, see, as long as there's no leakage in the gearbox, if you pour in that 4 liters, it will be enough. Because what will come out will be exactly that 4 liters, around that 4 liters. The only time it will come out more than 4 liters is if you overgauge it initially, or maybe the first time you drain it, you now find out that what comes out is even more than 4 liters. Maybe it means they initially overgauge that gearbox. So, but if you pour the first 4 liters, after you've already closed everything, pour the first 4 liters, what should be there? Then what should come out the next time is 4 liters. The reason why I'm saying this is the gearbox takes about 7 to 8 liters, but let's just leave it at 7 liters if everything is empty. But because some of the oil will be trapped in the torque converter, so when you want to drain, the only oil that will come out will be the one in the gearbox, not the one in the torque converter. So if the gearbox is overgauged, it means it will drop. The ones in the gearbox, that's where it will be. Everything will drop out. So that when you now pour the 4 liter, or even if it's not, what's it called? Even if the gearbox was not originally gauged properly, that it has little or low ATF. If you pour it at 4 liters, it will circulate, because what will now happen is it will go and mix up with the one in the torque converter, the new fresh oil mix up with that, so by the time you drain the second time, so, most of the percentage or most of the old ATF will go out with that fresh oil. So the old oil the percentage will reduce. So in that case, the torque converter will have is normal ATF, while the one in the gearbox, even if it's not enough, you shouldn't bother about it anymore. So you top up. And then there's something about that gearbox too. If it's too low, it can be noisy. If the ATF in that gearbox is low, sometimes if you shift it, maybe from park to reverse or drive, it can make some noise. You hear some friction noise, grrr, to tell you that oil is not touching everywhere because of the low oil level. I'm talking about the ATF now. So do it. The reason why you need to flush, do it like, call it flushing, change the ATF like 3 times, is at least let the fresh oil there be up to 80 to 90%. If you do it only just once during the first 4 liters, what will fresh oil probably will be maybe like 40% or so. And if they've not actually touched that ATM since new, so at 160 something thousand kilometers, the oil will be very bad. So you need to get everything out as much as possible. That's why I suggested up to 8 liters. So now, which ATF are we talking? I've done videos on the ATF to use. I've done quite a number of them. I've written a lot of articles. There are so many of them. I mean, the recommended one, mobile, that's OEM, mobile, what's it called? JWS, is it 3390 or 330? I've forgotten. 3399, I don't know. So I know I've done video on that, and the other alternatives, or you can use that Toyota 34 ATF. Is also recommended for that gearbox, as long as you are buying the original one. There's another one, liquid moly, Top Tech 1200. It's also available in Nigeria. I think 1200. Yeah, I think 1200. Either 1200 or 1200 T or G or something like that. Just check it up. I did a video on that too. And then there's another one I also recommend, but it's not actually recommended for that gearbox, but people use it and it works. Is this Total Fluidmatic MVLV, or is it LVMV, something like MVLV, something like that. So it's actually recommended for 86, but a lot of guys in Europe are using it, and from what they said, it's working on the AMCs. So I wouldn't know. I use it on mine. It didn't give any problem for more than a year. So it's up to you. Now, each of these ATF cost, apart from the OEM, every other one I mentioned costs between almost like 4,000 to 5,000 a liter. This total Fluidmatic MVLV used to cost 3,006. Probably the price has gone up. I don't know. That was before February 2020 this year. So you have to spend. That's one of the I won't call it negative. That one, what it takes to drive automatic gearbox. Maintenance cost is higher. So it's overdue. And it's possible because the oil is not bad. That's why the gearbox is behaving this way. And I just hope it has not affected the gearbox itself to the point that you have to replace it. So if you try doing this flush, I know somebody in Europe that had similar issue like this, though his own case was it was acting up, but also sometimes it will give you that boom, you make that sound boom when you want to downshift. So he changed the ATM, flushed it like 3 times, did almost what I suggested. It was even more than 12 liters self. He first did the first time he did it was 8 liters. After a while, he bought another 8 liters. After maybe like a month or less, some day or some weeks, you did another 8 liters, and the gearbox improved. So those things stopped. You stop experiencing them. So maybe it will serve you on your own. There's another one too, another ATF, man oil. Is it man oil or something? Man oil 8 something something. I've forgotten the name, but you see it there. It's also written on the container, AMCs something. No, for you see, for JWS 933 something something. That's it. You see that OEM part number written on that oil, but the brand of the oil is man oil, and the model of that oil is 8 something something. No. I've done video on all these things. I've written even probably articles too, so I really don't have them all off, offhand to start remembering their names. So yeah, your gearbox is overdue, or the 8 year is overdue. So yeah, what I would suggest is do all those things. For now, this yellow code you scanned, I'm not sure it has anything to do with what you are experiencing. But like I said, I don't know what the code is, the definition. So I didn't check it before I started doing this video. Maybe I'll look it up again. But like I said, if it's not Peugeot definition, I don't know. I don't usually rely on some of those things, but we'll see how it goes. So I select what is causing making that noise. Is it the engine, the wind noise, or the road noise, your tires, or your wheel bearing, or the gearbox? Then yes, your gearbox has problem, and start by changing the ATF first. If it continues, then you have to change the gearbox. Yes, you have to. Some will rather rebuild, repair, but personally, the guy, I won't. Even though I'm not into automatic, if mine give any problem, I'll just get rid of it. I won't waste my time with all those rebuilds. Now the AMC's valve body is available, brand new one. If you go on eBay, you'll see it. But the price of buying it may even buy you another car. How much? I've forgotten. How many thousands of pounds? I don't know. So it is there. Even if it doesn't buy another car, it probably may buy you a complete engine and gearbox in good condition. So that's the only way for, if you are telling me I will rebuild my AMCs. But if you are going to use a second hand again to put, which I don't even know if how long it's going to last. Well, it depends on your money. But the thing is, rebuilding it, they may charge you close to 50,000 or so to do the rebuilding, including the oil, ATF you are going to put. Then how much is the gearbox? So if that one doesn't work, it means you still spend another 100,000 or thereabout to buy the gearbox. So it makes sense sometimes to just buy another automatic gearbox and put. So that's the cost of using that MCs, the automatic gearbox. Those of us who are now into manual or that switch to manual, well, yeah, it doesn't concern us anymore. Funny enough, my gearbox is still there, and I even forgotten about it. It's there. Okay, I don't care about it anymore. It was working perfectly well before I removed it anyway. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. Yeah, so if you have any more questions, please send the message here as you did, and I'll make a time and respond.